All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we've got some more EB-03 spoilers to go over, and we got some SRs, okay? We got some super rares to go over in today's video, okay? So let me go and lay everything out for you real quick. Pretty straightforward, chill, lighthearted video for today. We're going to go over about, I think, seven or eight spoilers from EB-03, and then we're going to finish off the video by checking out a game on the sim. I got a game of Blue Buggy. Okay, that's right. We got a game of Buggy at the end of today's video. So I will have everything time-stamped in the general description for you guys to hop around wherever you want to, and I will have all relevant links and decks and stuff like that in the comments section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Now, let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. Spoiler warning, this is EB-03 cards today, and like I said, we've got some SRs finally for EB-03 to go over. Okay, very exciting stuff. So first up, we have Alvida. This is a 4-cost, 2,000 power character with a 1,000 power counter, and this is a cross-guild type character. Clearly meant for a Buggy, right? Clearly meant for a Buggy or some future cross-guild type leader. The effect it has is on play, you may trash one card from your hand. Place up to one of your opponent's characters with an original power of 4,000 or less, and up to one of your opponent's characters with an original cost of 3 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. Okay, that's very interesting. So this does not have the standard clause we could expect to see on like some of the other cross-guild characters where like, okay, if you have a certain amount of 5-cost and higher characters on the board, this character gets +1 cost. It doesn't have that condition or stipulation or whatever built in, but this is still a very strong character here for early aggression. Any kind of deck like Silver's Rayleigh or, you know, fill in the blank for any deck that's trying to go super wide across the board as fast as possible, this is going to help keep those decks in line. And then against the decks that are more, how do I say this, the decks that go a little bit taller, it's still not a big deal. Number one, you might be able to clean up their smaller blockers, their little chump blockers or searchers, or you could just use it to trash with your leader effect early on, or later on, or you could even use it as a 1K counter throughout the game. So I think this is a great card. I do think the primary deck that this is intended for is, of course, Buggy. However, this card is not leader locked, okay? This just says, on play, trash one card from your hand. So you're going to play out a 4-cost 2K. You're going to trash a card from your hand. So you're going -2 in hand. However, when you do that, you're going to be able to place up to one of your opponent's characters with an original power of 4,000 or less, and up to one of your opponent's characters with an original cost of 3 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. So really good stuff there. It is not locked in any way, shape, or form. It is good to have that. And notice both of them go off of original cost and original power. So you're not going to be able to, you know, get a stronger effect from this by comboing it with other colors. Just what you see is what you get. And your opponent cannot get out of it either, right? If they have some type of character that gets buffed up, you know, this is not going to be able to hit that. It's going to go off original cost or power. Okay, so pretty good stuff here. I'm trying to think how much this will help Buggy, because one thing that's interesting to me about a card like this is they already had a way to kind of deal with this, in my opinion, right? Because like they already had the 7-cost Buggy. I think people are calling it Shoe Buggy. They already had an answer to the go wide, attack fast decks. So is this what was needed? For all the Buggy mains out there who might be listening, are you really looking forward to this card? Is this like something that Buggy really, really needed badly in order to get into, you know, maybe the next tier of the competitive levels? Or is this not, is this more of a miss? Again, I'm not sure. Buggy is not my main. We are going to check out a Buggy game at the end of this video, but I'm seeing this card. Maybe I'll have this as a 1 or 2 of. But I think the 7-cost Buggy, the promo Buggy, can already kind of deal with the go-wide decks pretty effectively. So we'll have to see what happens. Either way, I don't think this is a bad card by any means. It's just a nice, solid utility card here. Notice how low the power is on this card. It's a 4-cost, 2,000 power character. So this is clearly meant to just be a very, very specific, how do I say this? Like, this card is meant to just be utility-based. It's not going to help you attack or anything like that. So very solid for what it is. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. I told you guys we had some SRs for today. Check this out. First up here for the SRs, we got Nico Robin. This is a yellow 7-cost, 8,000 power strike attribute character, Straw Hat Crew type with the effect. There's 2 different effects here. On play, you may trash 1 card from the top of your life. Okay, that's a pretty big cost. Let's see what this does. If your leader has the Straw Hat Crew type, okay, place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck onto your life pile. Okay, here we go. So what we're doing here is you're playing this out. Now, it is locked. This card is locked to Straw Hat Crew type leaders. But you're going to be able to trash 1 card from the top of your life to be able to get 2 cards on the top of your life from the top of your deck. That's odd to me. Why not just make it add 1 life? Is there something to this I'm missing, guys? What's going on here? What is going on here? Do they want you to not be able to play this out if you have no cards left in your life? Is that kind of the stipulation here? Is like, if you have 0 life, sorry, you're at 0 life? Because I'm not a huge fan of that. In order to do this effect, you have to trash the top card of your life in order to place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck onto your life pile. So, not a huge fan of that, but it is still very powerful if you can play it out on curve when you have, when you have 1 or more life still. Now, we also have another effect here. During your opponent's turn, when KO'd, you may deal 1 damage to your opponent. Okay, that does matter. There is a very big difference with dealing damage and your opponent adding the top card of their life to their hand or to the trash. Dealing damage to your opponent, that will actually cause triggers to resolve, right? Or they could potentially activate a trigger. So that's very interesting. So again, during your opponent's turn, when this character is KO'd, you may deal 1 damage to your opponent. Okay, very interesting there. Love the art on this. I don't think it's quite as good as the 6-cost, the black OP-12, I believe it is, the 6-cost 7K that has, if your leader's Koala or Luffy, gets +3 cost and blocker, and then on play trash a card to make them discard 2. That is still probably one of my favorite arts in the game, but this is still very close to that, very similar, and this looks very good as well. But yeah, so let's talk about this card a little bit more before we move on. I've got a few things to say. Number 1, it is a very solid card. Of course, any yellow Straw Hat Crew type leader is going to be able to use this and probably do some good work with it. But I'm not a huge fan of that condition there, where you trash 1 card from the top of your life and then you get the 2 life from the top of your deck. Maybe this is meant to be more for blue-yellow Nami. Like, I'm trying to think of who all could even use this. I guess you could also use this with, like, black-yellow Luffy. That seems pretty good. And you're trashing the top card of your life, so that would actually work very well with Luffy. Okay, so that's not too bad. Blue-yellow Nami, I believe that will activate your leader effect. I think that could potentially activate your leader effect, right? I'd have to reread blue-yellow Nami carefully, but I think that would be able to allow you to draw some cards potentially. So it seems good for blue-yellow Nami. Seems good for black-yellow Luffy. And I want to say that's all that... Oh, and then Nico Robin. So purple-yellow Nico Robin, the leader, I don't really see where this helps that leader at all. That's the really weird thing to me. We have a yellow Straw Hat Crew Nico Robin card that doesn't seem all that good for us in purple-yellow Nico Robin. If I'm missing something, guys, it happens, right? If I'm missing something, please say it in the comment section below. I really want to like this card for Nico Robin, the leader, but I don't quite see how this is very... I almost feel like it helps that leader the least, right? I feel like it helps out blue-yellow Nami and black-yellow Luffy the most, if I'm understanding how the interaction works there. But at the same time, this is still a 7-cost, 8,000 power character, so this is a very big character, and if they want to deal with this, they're going to have to take a life for it, right? You know, during your opponent's turn, when KO'd, deal 1 damage to your opponent. That is very solid. But that on-play effect is very strange to me. It must have something to do with black-yellow Luffy and blue-yellow Nami. Again, help me out if I'm misunderstanding something, guys. Other than that, seems good. Gaining 2 life. But again, you're basically just gaining 1 life in a weird way, right? You're trashing 1 card from the top of your life, and then you're going to add the top 2 cards of your deck to the top of your life. I wonder how that will work. Will you get to pick the order, or is it just, add 1 and then add 1? I'm sure it'll probably be like that, because it's not like you're going to know what they are anyway. But who knows? In something like blue-yellow Nami, maybe you can set the cards the way you want them. It does allow for some pretty interesting tricks, especially with, like, Marshall D Teach. If you're running Marshall D Teach, the 2-cost blue Teach in the deck, you can set the top card of your deck, attach 2 Dawn wherever you need to, play this out, and then go from there. Attach 2 Rested Dawn, of course. Okay, good stuff. Let's keep going. Again, guys, if I miss anything with any of these cards, please help me out in the comment section below. A lot of times you guys come up with some really awesome ideas that I had not considered. Okay, next up, we have another SR here. We have another SR. This time it's Koala. Okay, let's center it real quick. There we go. So we have a black 4-cost 5,000 power Dressrosa Revo Army character with a 1,000 counter, and it has, if your leader has the Revolutionary Army type, give this character +4 cost. Okay, we would expect that for black yellow Koala. So that makes it an 8-cost character, which is very, very important. A 4-cost character, which is getting counted as an 8-cost character. Very, very important. And it has a 1k counter. And then during your opponent's turn, when KO'd or on KO, play up to 1 character with a cost of 6 or lower from your hand or trash that has the name Nico Robin or has the Revolutionary Army type other than Koala. Okay, that's interesting. I have to say that is very, very interesting. I want to know what you guys think about this one, because I have to say at first glance, I was thinking, okay, nice, we're about to get some black-yellow Koala support. And clearly this is black-yellow Koala support in the most literal sense, right? And also for the leader, black-yellow Koala. But I'm not in love with this. I have to be that guy. I have to be the person that says it like that. If your leader has the Revolutionary Army type, give this character +4 cost. Okay, so it definitely works in Red Black Sabo as well, and it has some KO removal, or I mean some KO, you know, punishment. If your opponent KOs this character, you're going to be able to really punish them, right? Because you're going to be able to play up to 1 character with a cost of 6 or lower from your hand or trash that has the name Nico Robin or has the Revolutionary Army type other than Koala. So I think this is actually going to be a very, very strong card in something like Red Black Sabo, OP13 Red Black Sabo. But in Black Yellow Koala, I think it's still going to be good because you're going to be able to cheat out cards like Nico Robin. You're going to be able to cheat out cards like the 6-cost Secret Sabo, 6-cost Secret Kuma. That's another good interaction. But here's the thing. One thing that I've noticed about like the landscape of OP13, because remember guys, EB-03 will come out after OP13, right? It'll be in the same, you know, meta as OP13. So I've noticed that a lot of leaders are getting to 6,000 and 7,000 power or more, even 8,000 power in the case of Blue Purple Luffy by recurring the, by continuously using the new promo 8-cost 10k Purple Roger. And then there's also Red Purple Roger is getting to 9,000 power. Okay, so when I see these smaller characters, I don't know if your opponent is even going to care, because you're going to have to attach a Dawn to this character just to attack in. So if that's the case, you have to imagine it like this. If that's the case, if you're having to attach a Dawn to this character every single time just to swing for 6, to crack into your opponent's shields, you know, starting to attack into their life, well, now you're not playing on curve. Right now, you're no longer playing on curve. And Black Yellow Koala really wants to play on curve. They want to go, okay, you know, turn 1, searcher, going second, this is how that goes. Turn 1, you play out a searcher, and you do as much searching as you can. Turn 2, you play out hack. You don't play out this card, you actually play out hack. Right? And then turn 3, you play out your 6-cost Nico Robin, or the 6-cost Sabo, or the 6-cost Kuma, or whatever. And then 8 Dawn, you play out Dragon. And then 10 Dawn, you might be able to do something crazy from there, whatever you choose. But probably not. You're probably going to play Stussy out on curve. That's just kind of how that's just kind of the way the game goes. It's kind of how it goes. Now, in Red Black Sabo, it's a different story. Because once you hit your 6 Dawn turn, so you're going to play this card out on 4 Dawn going second in Red Black Sabo, and you can't swing on that turn anyway, and here's where it gets really good. Next turn for 6 Dawn, you want to play out the 6-cost Secret Sabo. That attaches a Dawn to your leader, and it's going to buff this character now. That's massive, because now you're swinging for 6k baseline with this card, and then if they attack into it, you're cheating out another character. Something like maybe like Nico Robin, or, well, maybe not Nico Robin in Red Black Sabo, but you guys get the idea. You could cheat out another Sabo or something like that. And let me see something. Play up to one character with a cost of 6 or lower from your hand or trash that has the name Nico Robin or has the Revolutionary Army type other than Koala. And it doesn't say to play it out rested, unless I missed it or unless the translation's off. I don't see it coming into play rested. So that's really good. So you could cheat out a blocker if they decide to attack into this. That's a way bigger character, a way bigger threat. So that's nice. I actually like this card quite a bit in Red Black Sabo, OP13 Sabo. But I will say in Black Yellow Koala, I don't actually think this card is that great, guys. That might sound crazy. Tell me what you think in the comments section below. Let me say one more time. If you're going first, maybe then it becomes kind of decent, right? If you're going first, maybe that will give you a reason to want to go first, where that way you go, you know, well, see, now you're playing it on your 5 Dawn turn. You play this out on your 5 Dawn turn, that's where you would normally want to play out something like Karasu or even the 5-cost Sabo, the 5-cost 6,000 power blocker Sabo. We'll have to see. I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about this card. I don't think it's a bad card. I'm just trying to think of it practically in terms of how is it going to help out the decks, you know, that we currently have for that this would go in, which is Red Black Sabo and Black Yellow Koala. I think that's the primary focus of this card. Not a bad card. It's just we might even have to just rearrange the way we play or build those leaders in order to accommodate for this card. And one more time, I will say this one more time. I think for Red Black Sabo, it's probably actually very good, but we'd have to put more cards in that 5 and 6 cost slot in order to get the most potential like value from the card. Okay, good stuff. Let's keep going. Okay, next up. All right, we have Charlotte Linlin here. We have young Charlotte Linlin. We have peak Charlotte Linlin here. This is a purple 7-cost, 7,000 power character, Rock Pirates type character. All right, with a 1K counter. On play, draw 1 card and place 1 card from your hand on the top of your deck. Then add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. All right. Interesting. So you're going to draw, on play, you're going to draw a card and place 1 card from your hand on the top of your deck. And then add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. That's very interesting. It's nice that this is a 7-cost 7K with a 1K counter. But you're basically cycling a card out. I wonder what this is intended for. So let me see. So the on KO is Dawn -1. Add up to 1 card from the top of your deck onto your life. Okay, so if it gets KO'd, you can add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life. See, so if that's the case, I'm actually surprised they didn't want to make this card into like a blocker, like almost like a 7-cost 6K or a 7-cost 5K blocker. I feel like that would have actually made more sense because think of it like this, guys. Okay, so on play, we draw a card, and then we place a card from our hand on the top of our deck. Then we add up to 1 Dawn card from our Dawn deck, set as active, and we pass the turn, right? Okay, so who's going to KO this card? It's probably going to get KO'd in battle, which is really solid, right? Because then you still get to do the on-play effect, or excuse me, the on-KO effect, right? But here's the thing. This card's going to be active for 1 turn, and not a lot of people are running ways to just KO remove a 7-cost 7K. And then what will happen is it goes back to you. You draw the card for the turn. Now you know what it is from your from the on-play effect. You know what it is. And now you're just attacking in, and then they attack into it, and you don't have the top card anymore. So I feel like they should have made that on-play a on-play / when attacking. I think that would have made more sense. Because otherwise, the only way to get any kind of like special effect of that on-play there is by them KOing this character on the first turn it's played. And that I don't think that's going to happen very often. Who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe things will change in the meta. We'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see what is going on in the meta at that time. But seeing how things are right now, we're seeing, you know, in OP13, just to give a quick spoiler for everyone over here in the West who's not aware, Black Emu, Red Blue Ace, and Green Zoro. Those are the decks that are doing very, very well right now in the East. There are other decks that are doing well as well, but I'm not going to go through the whole list of them right now. But just know those are probably the top 3 decks right now, with probably Red Purple Roger, Red Black Sabo, and Red Rayleigh, a bunch of random red decks doing very well afterwards. So I don't think this is not even a target they should want to KO, literally just to play around the on-play effect. But maybe that's the intention, is okay, if you want to get rid of this character, I'm going to get to gain a life, and I'm going to know what the life card is? I'm not sure, right? Because let me see something. On KO, Dawn -1, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck onto your life. Who knows? Could be interesting, but I will say this, guys. This is not really necessarily a Big Mom Pirates card, even though it is Charlotte Linlin, because this is a Rocks Pirate card. So this cannot even be searched up by cards that search for Big Mom Pirates type characters. So we'll have to see what happens here. I think that, who knows, maybe they're preparing for a future set with Rocks Pirates. That could be very interesting. That could be very, very cool. That's something I feel like they'll wait to do at the beginning of an entire block. So maybe like, you know, we're in block 4 now, right? As far as like, starting with OP13 and everything afterwards, that's block 4. So maybe block 17, or excuse me, in set 17, when we get to block 5, maybe they'll start messing around with the Rocks Pirate stuff. That could be really cool. Okay, not too much else to talk about here. Like I said, or actually, let me say it like this. I don't think this is a bad card. It's a 7-cost 7K with a 1K counter. Stat line is fine. 7,000 power is a very strong number to attack with right now because we're seeing decks get to 6, 7, 8, and even 9,000 power very easily going into OP13. Okay, so seeing a 7,000 base power character with the 1K counter and potential upside here with the on-play and the on-KO, yep, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, next up we have Carrot. Carrot is a green 6-cost 7,000 power character, Minx type, with a 1K counter, and it has activate main once per turn. If it is the turn this character was played, KO, okay, interesting, KO up to one of your opponent's rested cost 5 or lower characters. Then play up to 1 Zao from your hand. Okay, that is interesting. Play up to 1 Zao. Is that the stage? I think the name of the stage is Zao. So activate main. If it if it is the turn this character was played, KO up to one of your opponent's rested cost 5 or lower characters. That's interesting. I'm not a huge fan of when they give green actual removal. I think the big part of green should be the evasion, right? Where you can lock down characters or you can tap characters out of the way and go past them. I feel like that should be the main utility form of, you know, opponent interaction that it has. But we have seen KO in green in the past. It's not like this is the first time we've seen it. I'm just going to say I'm not a huge fan of it. But this effect here, very strong. Guys, this is a 6-cost, 7,000 power character with a 1K counter. And let me see something. It does not go off of base cost, right? If it is the turn this character was played, KO up to one of your opponent's rested cost 5 or lower characters. It does not go off of base cost, but still very powerful. And then you're going to be able to cheat out a Zao from your hand. Okay, which again, I believe that's the stage. Someone correct me in the comment section below if I'm off on that. But guys, this stat line, 6-cost, 7K, 1K counter. It's kind of like an on-play in this case. They make it an activate main, and they have it where if it is the turn this character was played, do the effect. So it acts as a on-play effect, basically, but it allows you to move things around accordingly. And I think the reason they did it like this is that this way you can play this card out. First of all, it plays around Blackbeard, but second of all, in order to play Carrot the leader, in order to do the effect, you have to have a Minx-type character on the board. So if you have no Minx character on the board, you'll be able to play this card out on a 6-dawn or higher turn, use the leader effect to rest down a 5 or less, and then activate the main, since it's still the turn you played this, and get rid of it and play out the Zao from your hands. So very solid card here. This is definitely a good card for Carrot, I think. This card is very powerful, guys. I think this is a very, very solid card for the leader, Carrot. Okay, let's move on to the next one. All right, I think this is the last one here. Nope, it's not. Whoops, sorry, guys. A quick spoiler within a spoiler there. We got 2 more cards left. So we got Uda. This is a red character, 5-cost, 7,000 power, film character, with the effect on play if your leader is Uda. Draw 2 cards. Okay, and there's no counter on this, by the way. This is a 5-cost, 7,000 power, vanilla stat character with no counter, but listen to this on play effect. If your leader is Uda, draw 2 cards. Here, I gotta zoom out a little bit. There we go. Then play a character from your hand with 6,000 or lower, with 6,000 power or less, and no original abilities, or no a character with no base effect, a vanilla character. Okay, they're really trying to do that with film right now. I'm not sure what the idea is there. I don't think it's a great look for the game in general. I don't know, maybe it will be if they fully flesh out this idea where we have a lot of different characters to choose from. So I've mentioned this before, and I hope they do this soon, guys. Hear me out. I'm just trying to brainstorm a little bit. So the very first vanillas that we saw in this game, which is characters with no base effect. That's what this is trying. When it says no original abilities, the technical terminology in the game for that, for us in the West in English, is characters with no base effect. Okay. I just typically call them vanillas. And an example of that, let's use a 6,000 power example. So that would be a 4-cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter character with no base effect. Now we're starting to see 2,000 power characters, like 2K counter characters, excuse me, with no base effect. And that would be a 5-cost, 6,000 power character with a 2K counter and no base effect. One thing I hope they implement at some point in the future, and I've been kind of asking for this for a while, is I think we need to have the final, tier of that. Because think about it. We have the 1K counter. We have the 2K counter vanillas. What about the 0 counter vanilla? I don't think it would be broken if we saw a vanilla character that is no counter, and it is a 3-cost, 6,000 power character. So notice what's going on there. They're losing their counter power. They have no base effect. They're 3 costs, and instead of being a 5,000 power base, make it a 6,000 power base to make up for the counter power that it loses. And then that would actually, I think that would actually give people some reason to build their deck around abilities like this, where, okay, this card does actually nothing. It's just extra stats on the card in a different way. It's still the same number of stats in power, but they're distributing, I can't even talk right now, guys. They are distributing it in a way that is more offensive, right? So I wish they would do something like that, because imagine if there was a card we could play in red film or red-purple film, I guess, because if this is meant for like red-purple UDA or just promo UDA or whatever it's meant for, if there was just a 3-cost, 6,000 power vanilla character, that I think that'd be very interesting, because playing it out on curve or playing it out off of an effect like this would make a lot of sense. But even later in the game, if it's a 3-cost cheap card with a lot of power like that, okay, that might be a nice follow-up play if we're on a 10 Dawn turn. Say we play out a 6-cost impactful card, and then we play out a 3-cost card that has a lot of value to it on the board and no value in hand. And then we have 1 Dawn left for like a 1-cost event or something. I think that could be very interesting. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but I think that'd be very interesting. And it would make cards like this a lot more powerful when they can only play out a vanilla card. But as is, we're going to be able to see 4-cost, 6,000 power characters and vanilla characters, and 5-cost, 6,000 power 2K counter vanilla characters that can play off of that can be played out off of this effect here. So very awesome art. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this for just a second. Check out the art on this card, guys. Looks so good. Looks absolutely amazing. And it is a 5-cost, 7,000 power beater stat line on a card. This is going to be a very, very aggressive way to play out your 5 Dawn or 6 Dawn turn and be able to attack into your opponent on the following turns. Really good stuff here. Okay, let's keep going. Now we have one more. This is the last card here, guys. We got Nefeltari Vivi, another incredible art. We're going to look at that first. Look at that, guys. Just beautiful. Really gorgeous art on this one. I bet it looks incredible in person. And it is an SR. Typically, they do alt arts for SRs. I would love to see how the alt art looks for this one. Okay, let's check out this effect. Nefeltari Vivi. Blue character, 5 cost, 4,000 power. Okay, very low power here. Alabasta Kingdom, 1K counter, blocker. Okay, I'm already liking this better now. After seeing 5 cost with only 4,000 power, I'm thinking, okay, hopefully it's a 2K counter. Okay, it's a 1K, not bad. Hopefully it has blocker. Check. We got blocker. Okay, it's all starting to make sense. On play, play up to 1. Okay, hang on. On play, play up to 1 cost 5 or lower Straw Hat Crew type or Alabasta Kingdom type character from your hand. Then you may not play characters onto your field for this turn. Okay, that's really interesting. That is really interesting. Now, I believe we did see a red Nefeltari Vivi. I want to say it was a red or a blue Nefeltari Vivi 1-cost searcher that does a top 4 search for a Straw Hat or Alabasta Kingdom type character. Well, this will pair perfectly with that if I'm thinking, like I said, I think it's a red one. So if we're running red-blue Nefeltari Vivi, this could be really nice in there. I love that this card has, I love that this card has blocker, and it's playing up to 1 cost 5 or lower Straw Hat type or Alabasta Kingdom type character from your hand. That is nice. So we're playing out 2 5-cost characters in 1 turn. And if this is being played in the new Nefeltari Vivi coming out, as long as it does not have a win attacking effect, I believe, you'll just be able to start attacking. So that could be really good. Or who knows, maybe you play out the 5-cost Rush Luffy from ST21. And now you're swinging for 7 with that, and you can attack in with your leader with just normally, because the new leader can attack. So there could be something really nice here. This effect is very powerful, and it has a 1K counter. That is nice, guys. And then later turns, if this character survives, attach 1 Dawn. We're swinging for 5. Really not bad. And actually, that's interesting. Because with our leader effect, right? With our leader effect in later stages of the game, like say we play this out on curve on 5 Dawn and we keep it up for a while, if we're on like an 8, 9, 10 Dawn turn or something, we might actually be able to play out another character, use our leader effect, which, I think you have to rest the leader, I believe, and give minus 2,000 power to one of your opponent's characters and give one of your characters rush. Okay, well, we might be able to use this 4,000 power character then to attack into the character we reduce the power by 2,000 and then rush and attack into the opponent's whatever else with the main character we played for the turn. So that presents a lot of value and a lot of potential. I'm a big fan of this card. This card seems really strong. This card seems very competitive. Like this could make something happen. And I'm trying to think, guys. This is not it is a type-locked card. You can only play out Straw Hat Crew or Alabasta type characters from your hand. But other than that, your leader doesn't have to be Straw Hat Crew, at least if I'm understanding this correctly. Yeah, so imagine playing this out in Blue-Yellow Ace. We might have to mess around with a new Blue-Yellow Ace build that is maybe more Straw Hat focused. I guess technically Alabasta Kingdom focused as well, but I don't think we're going to have much support there for Blue-Yellow. But Blue-Yellow, I think we can fit plenty of Straw Hat Crew type cards in there. And hang on, play up to 1 cost 5 or lower Straw Hat Crew type character from your hand. Think about the 5 cost 6k Nami. That is a 5 cost, 6,000 power Straw Hat Crew character with a 1k counter, and it has blocker, and it does a draw 3, and then place 2 from your hand on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So we've got some options there, and another option within Blue-Yellow is Nami, the 5 cost Nami we could play out that makes you trash a card with trigger to KO a 5 or less, and if we have 3 or less cards in hand, we can draw a card. So that's very interesting. This card's really making me think. I think we could have a lot of fun with a card like this. We'll have to see. And of course, it'll work out just fine in Nefeltari VV, but just trying to think outside of the box. I love when they do this. I love when they make cards. I'm okay when the card is locked to only being able to play out certain types of cards, but not when they lock it to specific leaders. That's where it gets a little bit annoying for me as a deck builder. Awesome card here. Cannot wait to mess around with this one. Okay, so that's it, guys. Let me give one quick recap. Nefeltari VV, this card looks incredible. This Uda also looks very strong here. And drawing 2 cards, by the way, I forgot to mention that. That is a big deal, guys. I kind of just glossed over that. 5 cost 7k, draw 2 when you play it, and then you're cheating out of 6,000 power or lower character with no base effects. Really, really good stuff here. These 2 are probably the best ones I saw. Nefeltari VV and Uda, those seem like those are ready to help a leader compete. Like, actually, be competitive. After that, Carrot as well. I'm not going to lie, this card seems very, very strong within Carrot. Seems very good. And I guess you don't have to play it in Carrot, but still, it seems very well catered for that deck in particular. Charlotte Linland, this one was a little bit interesting to me. I wish they had made it an on-play and a when attacking effect, so that way we can continuously punish our opponent for trying to KO this character. And remember, you're not really going card positive. You're drawing a card and placing a card from your hand back on top of your deck. So you're just cycling in really more of a blue way instead of a purple way. Well, I don't know how purple cycles, to be honest. Maybe this is how they're going to cycle in the future. Who knows? But then when you get KO'd, you're going to make sure you can put the card on top of your, If they made it an on-play and a win attacking, you could almost always, put the card on top of your life that you want there with the on-KO effect. Okay, solid card here. This Koala, I think, will be very good in Red-Black Sabo in particular. In Black-Yellow Koala, I think it can work in there, especially into leaders that are only 5,000 power. But otherwise, we might have to make some slight adjustments and revisions to the deck, or maybe how we play it to make this work. But otherwise, very good card. Okay, Nico Robin, huge fan of the art on this one, like I said. Really cool effect here on play, trashing a card from the top of your life and then getting 2 cards into your life. If your leader has the Straw Hat Crew type, place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck onto your life pile, and then on KO, you may deal 1 damage to your opponent. So we have the life burn built in, we have life gain built in, and it's an 8,000 power body. Really good stuff here. I don't know which leader's going to find a home for this one the best. Maybe it will be Black-Yellow Luffy. We'll have to see what happens, but Blue-Yellow Nami, I think, will love this as well. Okay, and then last but not least, we have Alvida. This one was very interesting. Again, I'm not sure that Buggy needed this. I think the what they called the 7-cost promo Buggy, Shoe Buggy, I think that one was probably all that Buggy needed in this regard. But hey, I think Buggy players will take all the help they can get. Okay, really good stuff here, guys. We finally got to see some of the SRs from EB-03, and that set looks like it might be cracked, guys. It might really help out some leaders that need the help. All right, let's finish up, guys. We're going to be checking out one game on the sim. You know, speaking of Buggy, right, we just talked about this. We got a game of Buggy versus Emu. Okay, let's get the volume off. Let's get, oops, I just turned it back on. I already had it off. And let's get the speed up to 2x, and here we go. So we got a game versus Buggy, guys. Sorry, I got to adjust the OCD's kicking in here. We got to adjust the camera a little bit. There we go. Excuse me. Okay, so we got a game versus Emu. Just waiting on our opponent here, and we do have the volume off, speeds on 2x. Yep, okay, here we go. I'll say we're just waiting for them to pick their hand. We're going to start off with the Mr. 3 Galdino. I grab the 7-cost Buggy, which is going to shut down all of their 3-cost and 4-cost characters from attacking. Once I get it down, at least. Okay, and then we got the 8-cost Crocodile and Mihawk. That's going to help us out big time, right? We're going to be able to cheat characters out, flood the board, and go from there. So we don't have any play follow-up here. We're on a 3-Dawn turn, so we're going to swing 5, get some cards out of my opponent's hand, or get some cards out of their life. Okay, nice. They're going to counter out. We'll take it every time, okay? Let's keep their hand size low and go from there. Okay, here we go. Now, they do have the Empty Throne. They're going to pay 3 and cheat out Jay Garcia Saturn. They're going to fix their hand. They're going to trash cards with the leader effect. They're drawing cards. Okay, excuse me, then they trash the card with the leader effect, draw a card, getting rid of the Saturn, and then they're going to swing for 5. Because they know that I'm about to play out the 7-cost Buggy. Or am I, though? Guys, am I actually going to do that? Now that he has no character on the board, I might actually go with a Crocodile into Alvida. Because that ends up being a draw 5, trash 4, or something like that. It's a massive card cycle. Okay, so we're swinging for 5. They decide to counter out. We're going to trash a card, one of the Buggies, playing out the Crocodile, trashing another Buggy, playing out the Alvida. Notice I've got Jet Culverin in this deck, guys. We'll talk about that towards the end. We'll go over the deck list after this game. And I trashed one of the 7-cost I trashed the 7-cost Crocodile. And now I've got 2 characters on the board that are relevant. I just need 2 more, and I can start slamming down my, my 10-cost Buggies. Okay, they're going to play out a Venus. And they're going to swing for 5 into my leader. And they only have, they have enough cards in their trash to reduce the power of my Alvida, but I don't think that matters. They swing for 5. I think we countered 1. We took the other. We get to do a top 4 search here with the, we hit a trigger for Cross Guild, the event. And we're going to fix our hand. And they're going to pass the turn back with 3 Dawn up. Okay, well, we're going to go 5 into this character. And we're just going to go everything into this character. Nice. They decided to save it. Very good. We'll just keep doing that. I think they're trying to play around Pudding. That is the whole idea here, is they are trying their hardest to play around Pudding. Okay, I'm going 7 into it. That card's gone. We're going to trash a card from our hand. We're probably going to trash the Margaret here. Yep, and then play out the Buggy, cheating out one of our 4-cost characters. So now we're going to, next turn, we're going to be able to play out the 10-cost Buggy, and it's going to stick on the field. It doesn't matter that we can't remove one of our opponent's characters. That's actually not very relevant in this situation here. We would rather just have a 10-cost 12,000 power character. Okay, now, things are about to get spicy. I have been drawing 3, trashing 2. I'm looking for my 4-cost Puddings. Because if I remember correctly, I've seen some of their searches, right? I think they did 1 or 2 searches. I can't remember. I know they did 1 search earlier on with the Saturn, I think it was. So I'm pretty sure they have the card in hand, the 10 cost in hand. I'm like 99% sure they have the 10 cost in hand. Okay. So, right here, we're going to play this card out for 4. Very nice. There is my card. They're on a 9 Dawn turn, right? Or excuse me, they're on an 8 Dawn turn. We're on a 9 Dawn turn. Watch this. We're going to trash those 2 cards. And now, watch what we decide to do here. He is desperately playing around Pudding, by the way. He takes 5. Now, watch this. Counter. Okay. We're going to swing for 6. Counter. Watch this, guys. I'm going to swing for 7. He does another counter. Okay, you got 2 cards in hand, huh? I bet they're both 10 costs. Guess what? Guess what, guys? He's got 2 cards in hand. Pudding, your turn. Watch it. Watch this, guys. Pays 3. Doesn't have it in his hand anymore. Doesn't have the 10 cost. Doesn't have anything in his hand anymore. Pudding is... Pause. So that's what's in his hand. Now, don't get me wrong. He should have played out the Saint Shalria. He should have played out the Saint Shalria to do a search first. But the point is, we completely demolished his strategy with the pudding. Okay? I don't know if he was trying to play out the Stussy or something with the stage, but that wouldn't make sense because you have to KO something. Whatever the case is, he should have played out the Saint Shalria to do some searching. He would have gotten a card. Now, the top card is Saint J. Garcia Saturn. So if the next, is it a top 4 or a top 5 search? I can't remember. But if his next 4 or 5 cards or whatever it is not a 10 cost guy, he's in a little bit of trouble. And I'm not going to lie, I think he's in a little bit of trouble anyway. Because at this point right here, guys, my next turn, I'm just attacking out across the board continuously. But either way, my opponent did make a play mistake at the end there. I just wanted to showcase that pudding can be absolutely devastating. I know this person was playing around pudding the entire time, and then when we finally got to the end of the turn, they had 2 cards left in their hand. We don't care. We're literally going to drop down the pudding. I mean, there's no way for us to know, but I can almost guarantee you one of their last cards was the 10 cost Elder, or maybe it was even 2 of the 10 cost Elders. Who knows? Oh well. Either way, good game to my opponent. That was a fun one. You hate to see it. It happens, but man, pudding, what a headache. Now, let's check out the deck list real quick, and we'll wrap up this video. Okay, so here's the list I was using. Nothing special. I'll have the list in the comment section below. We're not going to do an overview or anything like that. This is the list. It's still functioning the same way. You're just trying to flood the board, you know, stop the early attacks with 7 cost Buggy, get rid of all the late game threats with the 10 cost Buggy, and then we have stuff to get rid of stuff in between, like with Gum Gum Jet Culver, and I'm messing around with this card. Return up to one of your opponent's characters with an original cost of 4 or less to the bottom of their deck. That's not very good against Emu, obviously, but against most other decks, it's actually very, very strong. Like, because notice that was an OP13. We've been against Emu. Well, imagine we're going against Red Blue Ace. Okay, that's a nice 4 cost Marco you have there. Bottom deck. Or say we're going against Burgess, like against Marshall D. Teach. That's a nice Burgess you got there. Bottom deck it. There's a lot of different things we can do with that. But the main idea is to be able to play this out early on like a 3-dawn turn. Or I don't know, actually. It really depends. Because if we have down this Buggy, we're going to be fine from there. But it will help us get around early blockers, or cheap blockers in the late game to help us swing for lethal. Or if we don't find the 7 cost Buggy in time, it should help us out a little bit. All right. Well, that's it, guys. Like I said, we got a pretty chill video today. Let me get the outro on here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And guys, if you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing my stuff, using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're donating through Patreon or PayPal, if you're a Playmat supporter, a YouTube member, or part of the Discord community, thank you guys so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, peace.